Greetings everyone, welcome to my channel. In this film, we will be discussing the two most popular types of diabetes as well as their causes and also the common misconceptions associated with diabetics and their inability to consume fruits. Foods consumed that contains carbohydrates is broken down in the stomach and digestive system into glucose, which is the smallest molecule of sugar. Glucose is needed by the body for energy. Foods containing carbohydrate include starchy foods, sugary foods, and fruits. This glucose is transported into the circulatory system where the body detects that the blood glucose level is rising. In response, the pancreas, which is a small gland beneath the stomach, secretes a hormone called insulin. Insulin is responsible for getting the energy from the food we eat. The bloodstream takes the insulin and the glucose to each cell in the body that needs it. Let's take a look at what happens at the muscle cells.
At the muscle cells, it's insulin that allows the glucose to get into the cells where it can be used for energy. It's a bit like insulin is a key unlocking the door to the cells so the glucose can get in. That way, the blood glucose level starts to drop. But the blood glucose level can be topped up at any point by the liver releasing extra glucose that it has stored. The blood glucose rises again, and again the pancreas produces more insulin to move with that glucose through the bloodstream to the muscle cells, open the doors and let the glucose in. The body functions best with the blood glucose at an optimum level. It doesn't like it if the blood glucose rises too high. Normally, there's a cycle within the body which balances out the glucose and the insulin level, and this is achieved by the food you eat, the pancreas and the liver. However, in some people, the system doesn't work properly and they develop diabetes.
There are two main types of diabetes, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, the body does not produce any insulin. This is because of an autoimmune response where the body has destroyed the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas.
In type 1 diabetes, the carbohydrate-containing food is broken down into glucose as normal. That glucose then moves into the bloodstream. Normally, the body would produce insulin to let that glucose into the cells, but in type 1 diabetes, there is no insulin being produced, so the glucose can't get into the body cells at all. So the level of glucose in the blood rises and rises.
The main symptoms of type 1 diabetes are frequent urination, thirst, thrush, or genital itching, slow healing of wounds, and blurred vision. All these symptoms can be reversed once the person is treated with insulin. In type 2 diabetes, either the body is not producing enough insulin or the insulin being produced is not working properly. This can be due to being overweight.
In type 2 diabetes, the carbohydrate-containing food is broken down into glucose in the stomach and digestive system as normal. That glucose then moves into the bloodstream. The pancreas starts to produce insulin, which moves with the glucose through the bloodstream to all the body cells which need glucose for energy. However, the glucose can't always get into the cells because the locks to the cell doors have become furred up with fat deposits. That means that the insulin can't open the cell doors properly. So the level of glucose in the blood continues to rise. In response to this, the pancreas produces even more insulin, so the blood glucose levels continue to rise and the insulin levels continue to rise. This situation is further complicated by the cells, which are desperate for energy, sending out emergency signals to the liver to release stored glucose. The blood glucose level goes up and up, and the pancreas produces more and more insulin until it can't cope anymore, and eventually it can wear out.
Similarly, with type 1 diabetes, the symptoms are frequent urination, thirst, thrush or genital itching, slow healing of wounds, and blurred vision. The symptom of type 2 diabetes occurs slowly and often not at all in some individuals. Therefore, a person can wait up to 10 years before being diagnosed. Once diagnosed with diabetes, the average individual drastically reduces their fruit intake because of the supposed high sugar level of fruits.
Another very important point to note is that fruit sugar, which is called fructose, does not cause a spike in blood sugar levels. Unlike other carbohydrate containing foods, fruit sugar does not require the action of insulin for sugar to enter the cells of the body. This is because fructose is in its simplest, most natural form and can be quickly assimilated by the body without causing spiked blood sugar or insulin levels. Take your health into your own hands, do your own research, and remember, wealth is health.